Hi everyone, back today with another video. I just thought I'd talk about some of the things I'm doing to prepare for patch 11.1. And it's just a couple of different ways I'm setting aside items that I think might make gold once the patch goes live. So I'll put a link to this webpage in the description for anybody who wants to read more, because I'm skipping through some of it just to the parts where I'm interested. And the bits that interest me the most are the new, the knowledge point treaties, but also the new recipes. So I'm very interested in some of these new recipes because I think that will create a lot of demand for the reagents required um, to make it, essentially. And I'm just looking to stockpile some of those things in hopes that when the patch goes live, the value of these things goes up. So I'm sure you've all noticed that things on the auction house are worth much less than they used to be. And from here, there will usually be like a downward trajectory between now and the next expansion. But we will see these little blips along the way when new raids are released, when new patches are released. Especially like with this one, it's got the new crests, which means new. You can upgrade your gear to a higher item level. So everybody's going to need new enchants. They're going to need the new accessories, the things you can put on the gear to buff it up, new gems, all of those things. People are going to be upgrading those with the new items. So there's definitely going to be a bit of a boom in the price of some of these things. Now, it is a gamble, I am guessing, based on what I can see here. But I just wanted to share with you how I'm preparing for all of that. So, firstly, we just want to look at the charged armor kit. And basically, I think that that's a really good kit to pick up. I kind of want it. And it'll be best in slot for a lot of people, but the ability for people who use a character and switch specializations, if you're a tank and you switch to DPS or to a healer, or from healer to DPS, this this kit will give you a lot of flexibility in terms of your armor. You might not have to change in between switching specs. So I think there will be a lot of demand for it, especially initially. And at the moment, the leather really isn't very expensive. So I'm going to stockpile some of the silver ones because I think there will be a lot of concentration crafters out there looking to make the gold level one here for the flip. And I think I'll collect some of the gold ones as well, just because the price is pretty good. Because I think there's going to be a chance that there are some people who set them in as crafting orders. I can't be certain about that, but if you can get a gold one for cheap, you might as well give it a go because some people might consider that. So the next thing I'm interested in is the enchanted weathered crests. Also, the runed crests and the gilded crests. What that means is there'll be three new levels of gear, three new item levels, and everybody's going to want those. So, like I said before, there is the ripple out effect of that for everybody wanting the updates, the enchants, and the gems, and all the other things that go with that. But every piece of gear that's made is going to need these crests. So everyone who wants an upgrade is going to be looking to get them, which means storm dust, which is a requirement to make the other crests. And I am guessing here that it will continue to be a requirement for this one. And I could be wrong. This could backfire. It is just an assumption because the other ones require the storm dust. So I am assuming that they will want more storm dust to get these crests. So I'm going through and buying some of the storm dust when it's cheap. I'm buying the silver and the bronze. The reason for this is the silver is for concentration professions, people who will be making, maybe not me. I can't seem to make money with enchanters, probably because I don't have a concentration build. But there are people out there who will be looking to buy these silver storm dust to make the gold products. So I'm buying some of those, and I'm buying some of the bronze ones because the crests, they don't go up or down in quality. So you're better off using the bronze level storm dust to make your crests, because otherwise you're wasting money, because it doesn't matter. You can use a gold or a bronze and you're getting the same quality anyway. So I think there's going to be a lot of people who want the crests, who are looking for the cheaper option, but there are also going to be a lot of people who want the enchants. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm stockpiling up on the storm dust, both the bronze and the silver, like the leather, to put them away and to just see whether or not that gamble pays off. when you're doing this kind of, and it is a bit of a gamble. I mean, it's an informed gamble, but we are still kind of gambling here. When you're doing this, it's very important to not spend all your gold because this could backfire. The things I'm choosing here, like the storm dust, isn't a loss for me. I can go use that to make other things. And I am working on a concentration build. So there is a chance for me to make profit on that in the future if this does backfire as I make my own enchants and things like that and sell those on the auction house, even just for making my own gear. So I do have a backup plan for a lot of this. The leather has no backup plan. That's probably my biggest risk here. But I do think that it has a pretty good chance that it could blip up in value. If you've done any of this trading for patches and expansions before, lots of people do this. Lots of people hoard items they think are going to do well. So keep in mind when the expansion comes live initially, there's going to be all of those people with FOMO who are panicking or wanting to make lots of gold and just dumping it all on the auction house. And that's going to affect prices, at least initially. There are going to be smart people who are waiting that out or smart people who are buying that out, waiting for the prices to kind of stabilize as all of the people who are panicking or desperate to make gold or perhaps stretch themselves a bit too thin gold wise are just trying to offload all of their stuff to make as much gold as possible. So they're dumping all of the things on the market does have an impact. So just think of that whenever you're doing any sort of collection where you're trying to sell stuff. Like the tinderbox flip, for example, is a really good example. If you buy 500 of those and you dump 500 of those on the auction house, you're going to reduce demand because you've increased supply. And that's just hurting yourself, really. There's a lot of people out there, I see them listing as, 400 lots at a time, which is not only super impressive that you've got the gold to do that flip, but it does impact how much gold you're going to make from it. And I do just want to say, if you've watched my other tinderbox, this is a little bit unrelated, but I've noticed a pattern with the tinderbox, and I'm going to share it here with you now. The tinderboxes fluctuate in price really dramatically throughout the course of a day. So they fluctuate between 2,100 gold is the lowest I've seen it, but 2,200 gold is where it sits. But I have seen it go right up to 2,400 gold. And I'm starting to list a chunk of mine there. So when it sees those spikes, when somebody comes and buys a huge wave of them, I'm getting a better price, and I'm getting that for just being patient. So it's worth thinking about if you're doing this tinderbox flip. Consider that for yourself. You can see here the other thing that I've collected in my bags. You probably noticed when I was over there in the bank. I'm selling my weaver cloth and my dawn weave and all of that, and that's part of my farm. But I'm starting to keep the silver ones of all of the weaver cloth, and that's because there are going to be probably people who are still doing the concentration flip, and I think that that could pay off. Another thought I'm having just now as I'm making this video is that there probably going to be a lot of people who want to buy the dusk weave and the dawn weave bolts come the new expansion. They're probably going to want the gold level stuff, and there are going to be profession people who have the concentration builds who can make that gold level stuff and make a lot more profit than you can. But if you've got the silver level items, the weaver cloth, the dust cloth and the dawn weave cloth, people are going to be looking to buy those. So it's just a thought. Do make your own decisions here. Don't do what I'm saying because I'm saying it. This all could backfire. Okay, I'm just guessing about the future. But what I am starting to do is I'm going to start keeping some of the higher level cloths just to see if I can make more profit on them in the future. And this is risky, but I do think it will pay off. And like I said about the storm dust, I am still a tailor. I am building myself a concentration build. So even if this backfires, I have a plan B for these items. So just have a think about what you want to do with yours. There's probably a couple of other things. If you go look at the link I put in the bottom there where I talk about the patch notes, go and have a look at that link because there are other there are other recipes coming out. There's a cooking recipe and there are some engineering recipes, and if you've got either of those things, it's worth having a look at. But I do just want to say that, like I said before, we do know there are going to be new levels for gear, 3 new levels, which means even if you're a blacksmith or a jewel crafter or an alchemist. An alchemist is probably going to do well when the new raids come out, when you're making those pots and things. But just remember, there's going to be a ripple on effect for all of these things. It probably won't be as impactful as some of the things. There's going to be a demand for people to upgrade their gear with these new crests. And like I said before, there's going to be a wave. And that's going to affect every profession in ways people who have that profession can only know. I can only guess how it's going to affect blacksmithing, for instance. I play mostly cloth players. I don't have a single plate player, so I don't have blacksmithing. It's not a value to me. But you'll know better than I do for blacksmithing or engineering what things are profitable for you in the event that people do a remix of their gear, try to upgrade all of their gear. What is selling well now? And if you've got those upgraded crests, what is probably going to sell well in the next patch? What can you be storing to make the most out of that? So just have a think. Even if I haven't said it explicitly here, hopefully I've given you some ideas for how you can go look at your own professions and think of ways to make gold there once this patch goes live. If you're preparing for the next patch in different ways and you think you'd like to share with us, leave a comment down below, and that would be wonderful. It's always helpful when we get those kinds of comments so we can kind of share it around a bit. If you liked today's video, you found it helpful or entertaining, please like and subscribe. Clicky on that subscribe button. It makes a big difference. It's super helpful for this channel and it's free for you. So give that a like, give it a subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. And as always, remember, girls don't play WoW,